So Business Central comes with an Outlook client, which means you can actually use Business Central from within Outlook. I'll show you that in a moment, and then I'll show you the various ways of getting data in and out from Excel, plus also how you can collaborate within Microsoft Teams. CRM also integrates fully with Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement, or Microsoft CRM, depending on how you want to refer to it, which means the sales teams can use the CRM system to raise opportunities and orders, and those customers and stock items would synchronize through to Business Central, and you can process the orders in Business Central, raise a sales invoice and have that posted back into CRM, so the salespeople can see what invoices have been raised on customers and which invoices have been paid as well. And also we've integrated Business Central with numerous other systems, most notably quite often with websites for e-commerce and things along those lines. So it is possible to integrate Business Central with a few things. So let's take a look at some of these items. Here we are in Outlook. This is Outlook in the web, but it works on a normal Outlook desktop client, just that's linked to my live system, and this is the demo system. So within the inbox, as I select an email in here, it will pick up the email address of the person the email came from and read that and check that to Business Central, and then bring in the record across the side, customer or vendor, that email relates to. So there we go, it's opened up, it's in a datum, and I can come in and drill into these items as well and operate Business Central from in here if I need to. Obviously, very useful for a quick credit control check before we process anything. You can also utilize some of the AI servers behind your Microsoft server in the cloud here, and we're asking for a quote here, and the AI is actually going to read the body text of the email here. So if I come in and create a new sales quote, it will come in and analyze this, even including the spelling mistakes, and predict what it is I should be creating in terms of a sales quote. And there we go here. We just don't need that line, but it's recognized the other lines in here, and I can select those and go ahead and create a quote, and that will then create the quote within Business Central. So I haven't gone anywhere near Business Central at the minute. I'm just operating wholly within Outlook here, and I can continue on. I could also send this back to the prospect, the customer, as well if I wanted to, and come back in and either move it on or just send back via email. So I've got my quote created here, and I can continue to process away, and I've got my attachment there, so that's not leaving Business Central. With regards to interaction with Excel and Teams, there's a couple of things we can do here. So if we do this first from, let's say, within a customer record, perhaps you're talking to a colleague, there's a problem with a customer record or supplier or stock item or something along those lines, then we can use this send function up here and share to Teams, and it's just going to open up a dialog and have the shortcut all ready to go in there. And we can add extra information in here, decide who we want to have the discussion with here, come into here and enter problem with the account, problem with the order, whatever it is, and the discussion will just go directly into Microsoft Teams. And as long as the recipient has Business Central access license, they can click on that and they'll go into exactly the record you're talking about, so you're not sort of messing about with anything there. Also works on views as well, so any of these views can be teamed away as well, share to team, and they'll come in and see the view. If we move over to something like a chart of accounts and drill into one of the items here and export this out, You can see there's an open in Excel, that will just automatically bring it into Excel. There's no sort of CSV issues or anything along those lines. You know, it understands exactly what it's up to, and exactly what the formatting is as well. So this is immediately ready to use with data. So it knows this is a date, it knows this is a value, etc. So there's no reformatting or getting rid of columns or things along those lines. It's also worth pointing out as well that when we run reports on information, you do have the choice of exporting out information directly into Excel, where you can take the data and the layout of the report, so you get the headers and the columns and everything from the reports, or you can just take the pure data and then do whatever you want to do in Excel. There's another option within here, as well as we export out, which I can't demonstrate in my demo environment because mine's linked to live, but it's edit in Excel, which does the same as open in Excel, but retains the link back to Business Central. And it means you can make some changes in Excel, changing price lists, entering journals, things along those lines. Hit publish and publish the data back in from Excel back into Business Central. Now you can't break Business Central. You can't do things in Excel and publish it back in that you couldn't do within Business Central. It's a quick way to do mass updates. And talking about changing items as well, it's also worth pointing out here that things like nominal code numbers and customer account numbers and vendor numbers and things along those lines, if you need to move the numbers around, that perhaps you created them wrong, or in this instance you need to insert in new GL codes, you need to make some space, it's not a problem. You can change the coding and it will go back and change your history and things along those lines. Now, probably something you want to do overnight if you've got an awful lot of transactions in that code, but it will change the code. You know, you're not stuck with what you had going forward. And also note you can block these codes for choices within the same thing with customers, suppliers and stock items as well, if you don't want people to use those going forward. The third interaction with Excel is pasting directly in from Excel. So if we've composed some information here in Excel and we have our columns in the same order as Business Central, we can just copy from here. We can come into the journal screens and paste directly in just with a Control V. And the information will just come directly into Business Central, and we continue to post on from there as well. I'm just going to select this out and delete this instead of posting it through. But you can see there's a good example of sort of interaction with the other elements of the Microsoft stack around Business Central.